As a high school history teacher especially, that's something that students think about, right? The idea that it's an army, it's a big mass, it's not individualized people. And what's nice about this documentary is that it brings the individual to life for them, and it oftentimes, and I saw this in my class when I showed the video, is that it leads them to go home and ask their parents about maybe veterans that are in their own family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, great-grandparents, whoever it might be, and then they come back to class with stories of their own, and they make that connection to their own individual families, which is what really makes this documentary a great asset to have.
I went to Cardiff, Wales for my teaching degree where I taught history. I used the documentary that we did in some higher level high school classes. So I did in a year 11 class, which is about 15 to 16-year-old students, and they really enjoyed the film. It brought the history down to a more personal level for them, and it also opened up different perspectives on history that they would have never watched before because they're used to their curriculum, which deals more with the UK and World War II, and they're able to see how the Commonwealth countries were able to bring in soldiers and support the war effort through that. So especially with First Nations that were involved in the war that we featured in our film, that's something that they have never seen before or even knew.
A textbook generally relies on secondhand accounts, which sometimes gets distorted through the times of history. It is sort of the traditional way. The documentary sort of brings that history out, brings it alive, gives them something to actually physically almost touch and feel. By seeing this and making the connections with these men and women who actually served probably when they're about the same age as most high school kids, that creates sort of this connection because it's a snapshot in time where you have almost a 17-year-old talking to another 17-year-old, which is something you'd never find in a textbook.
I think group discussion following an airing of the documentary would be most useful in that students will be able to reflect upon what the documentary means to them. So instead of just leaving the room after you've watched the documentary and not sure of what you're feeling and wanting to discuss it with other people, having a seminar format, for example, in a university course or any kind of group discussion, I think allows people to digest what they've just seen and to share their experiences and what they feel and what it might mean with other people, which is much easier to do, I think, in a group than simply trying to reflect in your own way by yourself.